can understand how much stability matters to people, and like knowing where you're going, knowing what's next, mean what you say, but in the scope of a relationship, that is not constant. That things are going to be the same, that they're going to be stable, that changes won't occur, that hard times won't push you into something different, or that your partner doesn't want like a whole new career change or whatever it might be. But if the support doesn't start within your home to see the value that it brings to your spouse, and then how that can bring value and peace back into your home, then it's going to be an uphill battle each time to try something different. So I guess I'm just saying we have to be in tune with our partners enough to know what they need that will in return be beneficial for our family. And then think about and plan and communicate how their joy and whatever they do or want to do or pursue will be like how y'all can work together for it. And sometimes that's uncomfortable. And uncomfortability doesn't mean bad, but we honestly have to get uncomfortable, and it's best to be uncomfortable together than ever feeling like we have to do that separately.
This is the B-side, 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 the marriage. This is the B-side, 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 the marriage.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Bside of Marriage podcast. I'm your host, Rashonda, and this is my husband,
Jason.
And here at the B-side, we talk about everything related to marriage. The good, the bad, the real, the A, and the B-side. So if you're tuning in via YouTube, please be sure to rate, comment, review, subscribe, do all the things. And if you're listening on audio, please be sure to rate and review so that others can help find the podcast.
As well, follow us on Facebook at The B-Side of Marriage, and then on Instagram at B-Side of Marriage.
All right, so let's roll into our first segment, which we call A or B side. That's so catchy. But anyways, where we share either a positive or a not so positive moment from our week.
All right, so mine is, mine is just, I'm coaching two sports. I'm coaching my two youngest in soccer, coaching my oldest in basketball. First week, I lost one, won one. So that's going to be my A side because, like I said, the boys basketball kind of really impressed me with my team. So I was kind of like shocked. We won by like 16. So I was kind of shocked. So, but what about you?
It's funny how you chose that as an A side, and I'm going to choose it as a B side. Because there's two sides to every story. So yes, my husband is coaching both soccer and basketball. I don't know why you're going to say that. But he's coaching both teams. So he's the head coach, meaning that you're going to get all the heat when things are not going right. So we're very competitive, even like within our relationship. Like if we're playing any kind of sport, we can't be on the same team because we like to win. Yeah. And we don't believe in, even when we're playing games with our kids and letting them win, you have to teach them that sometimes you lose.
You got to lose.
And you just have to be a graceful lose. You got to lose gracefully. So anyways, like he said, he did lose a game and did not really take well to the feedback.
I got all the thunder. Got all the thunder. So yeah, my wife just gave it to me. Mind you, she gave it to me during the game. She sent me a text message while I'm in the middle of the game. You didn't do that?
Yes, but it was only because I was thinking of it. And so I gave that feedback, but you weren't supposed to be reading your watch.
Got to watch, so it popped
You weren't supposed to be doing that. So I was trying to do that because I know how we can get a little intense. So I was like, if we wait and talk about this when we're back home, it'll be fine. So I'm trying to look out for us.
Yeah.
Because I know that communication and competition, they really don't go hand in hand with us. So anyways, it's my B-side moment. We talked about it. We'll see how this weekend goes.
Yeah. All
see
right.
if it works or not. Well, so change up a couple of things.
Listen, we still gonna still be together. So don't.
Oh yeah, we're still together. It's just we might have to figure out like after games we go to our separate corners, then reconvene at the end of the night. Who knows? But hey, we'll see.
Okay.
But yeah,
so I don't know if y'all noticed there's something different. The look of today's a little different. So today we have a special guest. We have a couple.
Well, wait, before we go there, I'm just saying we probably should tell them what's going on.
Oh,
while we have a couple.
There you go.
So we wanted to bring in some other couples so you guys can get their take on their B-side moments of marriage. We have, we're advocates on marriage requires work. Yeah. But it is fun as well. And so we wanted to just bring in some different couples who've gone through different challenging moments.
And a different perspective.
Yeah, and just kind of talk with them. So it's a series that we call B-Side of Marriage Conversations. I was about to say moments.
Okay.
So having said that, who are we talking with tonight?
So we're talking with this lovely couple that we've met, that we've done a podcast with as well. Damon and Katoya, if I said it right, from Keep It Up with the Sumners. Mm-hmm. So we're going to actually bring them on and let them introduce themselves.
Yeah. All right.
Hey.
So welcome.
That was a fun intro. I don't know how we introduce ourselves without discussing the beginning.
That was a lot right now.
I was like, switch. That's what we're talking about. Communication and competition.
So we got stories. We got stories of competition, but
absolutely
another time, I guess.
To join on the B-Side of Marriage, as we were so lovely introduced, I am Katoya, and this is my husband Damon, and we are the host of our podcast called Summit Up with the Sumners. And we've been doing that for 2 years now, a little over it. And we love to talk about marriage relationships and how to exist as best you can in them. So through our own experience, through what we've learned, through what we've shared, through the couples that we've related to. And so we're happy to join in today and just talk a little bit more from our perspective and what has worked and has not worked, and, the nuggets that we've gathered along the way. So thank y'all so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. So one of the things we like to always ask is to hear about your love story. Kind of how you guys came together.
Yes, how'd you meet?
Yeah.
Why did you say I do? All that stuff.
Yeah, that's good. Want to jump in first?
No, I already talked. You got it.
I see.
So here we go. But there has to be there's a caveat, okay?
Okay, what you got?
Because I think Damon, you said it on your podcast. You said I think you serenaded her.
Close. If you're talking about the engagement.
While dating, he did.
I did what?
See, that's what I want to hear. Because I heard y'all talking about it, and the funny thing about it is that's something that I did with her. So when I heard it,
I'm just trying to. I said that out loud?
I don't think you did. He would have probably never really admitted to it.
Somebody said about you serenaded her. I don't remember exactly, but I remember hearing it.
Not for an engagement or proposal, but at some point in our relationship, you definitely
we must have got real comfortable for me to bring that up.
I was like, I don't know what he was. I don't know.
Before the podcast, but
that lets you know how much she done serenaded me intentionally.
And be over blessing people. That's how they get cocky. You know what I'm saying? You gotta separate that out.
That's a good one.
You gotta make them want it. But yeah, let's dive. So the bulk of it is that we met, and Katoya's from Texas, I'm from Louisiana, and we met in high school freshman year. We have one conversation. We don't talk again until senior year, right? Rode in different circles, lived different lives. went on, right? I lose a few pounds senior year. I had braids. I cut my braids. You know what I'm saying? I kind of get into a different vibe as a senior. Guess who take notice? Hello. Yeah. And so word on the street is she tells a friend, like, yo, I'm kind of digging Damon. Now, a few things transpire. We kind of like interact as we're seniors at a few different events. So, the Lord kind of just puts us in different spaces together. And, we want to share one of the big moments where we kind of were in the same space. Like one of the, no, you don't want to. Not even going to, I'll toot my own horn since I'm just out here toothless. And so,
I'm going to share?
We already talking about serenading. I'm going to give my compliment.
Let's just keep this energy. Let's go.
Oh, no, I want to know.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this one?
Anyway, so we're at an event in the gym. Again, we're in different circles, so we don't really hang out.
Oh, you're right. You know what? I was thinking that was the first conversation. I'm so
yeah.
sorry.
Oh, yeah.
First conversation was like so silly. I don't even know if that was in ninth grade.
No, senior now.
No, in ninth grade, that first little interaction.
Yeah, that was nothing.
Senior year comes, and I'm self-conscious about my feet at the time. He doesn't know this at all, but I had my toes done. It was like some award ceremony or something.
Yeah.
And, I'm sitting down and he's sitting down next to me. I was always cute.
Always. Always. He was wearing high heels at track for PE class. You understand what I'm saying?
I was like, I'm not going to dress out. I will just walk in heels. Somebody should have recorded that silly stuff that I was doing. I was like, no worries. If it's about dressing out to do, I will just do in what I'm in. I thought that was logical. Anyway.
It's insane.
Anyway, I was in some little thong sandals, and he complimented my toes. He complimented my feet. I mean, at this time, people had complimented all kinds of things. But he complimented my feet, and unbeknownst to him that I had like my own self-consciousness about my feet. And I was like, out of all the things that this guy could have said to me, he says, you have beautiful toes. And I was like, we're like 18. And I'm like, that's the best thing ever. So I was like, this guy's great. Like, wow, the compliments are so random. And so that kind of like happened. And I was like, oh, wow, I was all about like not dating anybody in high school, like that went to our school. And I thought everybody was so immature. I was just so much better in my brain. I thought that. So I was like, oh, wait, there's someone that I've overlooked.
Yeah. And so that puts me on the radar, right? She keeping the story moving. She tells a friend. The friend hits me up. It's like, yo, Damon, Katoya, kind of feeling you. I'm like, oh, shoot, okay. Well, let me get the number, right? So on a Wednesday, I'm in the passenger seat. We're coming home. This is second semester senior year. We're about to go to college, right? And so I text her on a Wednesday night in the passenger seat. Yeah, it's like April 2015, right?
March.
Yeah, I'm not 2015. I'm sorry, 2005.
Yeah, this is all 2005.
Yeah. And so we're seniors in high school.
Don't it sound like it?
I text her 2 words on my singular wireless brick phone.
Nokia.
Shout out to the Snake. I text her, hello, ma'am. Those are the 2 words I text her as an 18-year-old lad. I text her, hello, ma'am.
And I'm like, who could this be?
Well, it's the man that got you. He's like, oh, you thought I was immature, and he's using him. So you're like, oh,
maybe it's the same guy that complimented my
toes. So mind you, we're gonna keep this a short version. Mind you, just at this time, right? She's like, I ain't really did nobody in school. At this time, as a senior, I've given my heart to the streets. Because I had somebody try to like step on my heart as a junior. So as a senior, I was like, yo, we out here. Yeah. Now, nobody was in the streets for me. So let me just be clear. But my mind was in the streets. You understand? And so I say all that. We got to focus.
I like this. Keep this energy. I like it.
And so I text her on a Wednesday. Now, all right. So, and I'm like, listen, I'm a senior. I remember the details. We were living Bible study. So it was a Wednesday, right? I text her. I'm like, what's up, right? I'm shooting shots. I had never had a girlfriend. Had been on one other date. I'm seeing. I'm like, let's live life. I'm like, let's go out. We go out on a Friday. We have one date. Let me be very clear. We have one day, skating, Latino night. We watch Mindhunters with LL Cool J, right? We talk on her curb for a couple hours that Friday night.
You sing that same night. You did sing that John Legend
I didn't.
night.
All right, hold on. I wasn't sprung. Let's go down. I was sitting on. That was a different day.
Got me doing things I never do.
Stop. That's not the song. We're on games right now.
I'm almost certain. No, I'm pretty sure you did sing that.
My 18-year-old.
It was a very long night, and we had a great night, and we sat out on the curb, and we confessed our love to each other. We didn't, but it was just like this moment.
It was a moment.
Like, oh wow, this is a real something that's happening.
We'll agree to disagree for the sake of time.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah. Anywho,
you sing every day today. So.
We graduate high school the next week. And I asked her out, and so we get together on our graduation of high school, not having been together on graduation day now for less than a week, not knowing the college we're going to, not knowing if we're going to be literally across the country, across the world, or what's happening next. I was like, hey, let's live life. And that's our origin story.
That is the origin story. And it's so premature, but I love it because it's like, man, we really met in high school. So things were so... I am a sucker for a good high school romantic comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it's like teenagers falling in love, I'm like, oh, this is so sweet. This is so dumb. It's so innocent. Missing all the pieces. Ain't nothing making sense. And we technically could be a team romance.
Write that into a script.
That's just how it worked. Now, gratefully, our past had a greater future for us after that. So we literally get together. Find out we're going to the same colleges. We live in the same dorm.
Crazy.
And our relationship, grows from there. We get connected to a college ministry. And then we just continue growing. We dated for 3 years. We broke up one time within those 3 years, and it was so sad. But we got back together, and then after that, we had what we called
6 months of bliss.
The 6 months of bliss.
Come on now. Yeah.
And we were like, oh my gosh, everything is so great now that we're back together. And then, we got engaged at year like
December,
2.5.
December 17, 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's only been like 2.5 years. And then we got married in 2008.
Dang.
So we just went for the adventure. And we got married in college.
Going into our senior year.
Going into our senior year of college.
Yeah.
And
the rest is history.
Yeah. And then a year later, 10 months into our marriage, we got pregnant, and
we ain't got to jump the gun. We ain't got to keep going now.
Well, it's kind of fun because it was like, oh, ooh, and then it was like, boom, 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 and then here we are. So we have been married now for 14 years, and we've dated for a total of 17, or we've been together for 17 years. So that's
good.
That's close to us, but
what?
Because I was a 16.
I was like, we did not meet in high school.
No, it's.
But the time.
Gotcha. It's talking about time. I'm following now. Sorry. Well, no, I was just thinking about, meeting someone. I can't imagine if I met you in high school and then transitioning from high school to college to like adulthood. We would not make it.
No,
we would not be here.
Like Damon said, I was in the street. So
yes, he was in the streets.
I met you at the right time where I was.
Right time.
Yeah, I think it's the grace of God for us. I mean, I think it's just been. I think we've made a conscious decision to choose and to grow together. Because we are 100% not the same people we were. I mean, we're coming on 18 years. So. Yeah. And it's just crazy to think like we've been in each other's lives almost more than we have not. And that's just really wild concept.
Yeah.
Talking about getting older, but then like, no, you're actually still young, but it just is so much time that's been put together. But yeah, we grew and matured well, but we grew and matured well because we had other people around us.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, that's definitely.
Yes, that's good.
So you want to?
So yeah, so since you guys especially have been together since you were in high school, transitions have been a regular part of your marriage. This has been a common theme within your relationship. So that was one of the things we wanted to talk with you all about. And I hear that you guys as of recently, are going through another transition. So if you would just share a little bit about that, and then we can like jump into it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that.
Boy, that's probably one of our themes of our marriage.
I actually have like a really good friend. He's like, man, y'all are just so good at like just supporting each other through changes. I feel like we definitely have had so many changes in our relationship. Earlier today, side note, our daughter just had a breakdown. Like tears, like she just can't handle it. She's in there crying, and we're like, all right, let's just go see what's going on. And she's like, it's just so many changes today. And she is crying her eyes out because we had one plan and it changed, another plan and it changed. I said, what about school? She's like, it was changing at school. Like, stick to the plan, people.
Please.
So she's gonna learn up in this family that are a part of the plan. So while I think we've handled many of them well, they have not, they have not been without hiccup. But I mean, go through like a quick synopsis.
Yeah, we've been through. I mean, because that's a good place to land is where we are. Like no particular order, right? We pick up and move and leave our blood family essentially. After college, we moved all the way from Texas to Georgia, homeless, pregnant, and jobless, on faith to help start a church plant. Then 2 years later, we pick up as a family of 3 with our son. We moved to Shanghai, China.
Hold on. Church plant?
Yeah.
Church?
We were hands and feet. So 20 to 25 of us moved to Atlanta from our college ministry in Denton to help start a new church.
Yeah.
At the time, that church was Blueprint Church, and since then we like have kind of not subplanted, but many of us have moved to be a part of another church plant called Cornerstone. Right. So that's how we started, and like I said, we did so much together with so many people living the life with us. But we literally had probably like an income tax of savings and a little bit of our own money and moved. And we were like 6 months pregnant. And we didn't have no. And I was like, I just want to stay home with my mama. Like, what is happening here? And Damon was like, no, I believe this is what we're going to be. And I was just like, what kind of silly person am I to believe this? But, it was a journey for us and it was fine. I would never do it again. But we did.
We do. We seasoned vets now.
I ain't masters of Not that I would. Okay, I wouldn't recommend it for anyone. But
you ain't got no job and you pregnant. Oh yeah, y'all should do it.
Yeah, y'all should just leave. You ain't never lived nowhere else.
Nowhere else.
Do it right now.
$30 in the account. Yeah, y'all should go ahead.
Yeah, it was wild.
God will provide.
Yeah, ain't probably did. But it could have been better.
It could have been better.
And so then, like you said, 2 years later, after we lived here for, I guess, 2 years, we decided that we wanted to travel even more. And like there was more of this world to see. And so Damon started teaching. And so we moved to China.
Teach English in China for a year.
Y'all make some serious.
Yeah, when you move, like,
It ain't like we finna go to the neighborhood a couple of, towns over. No, we moving states.
Well, all of this is happening under 25, so I can't vouch for it. I don't know what we're saying. So we were like, yes, let's do it.
YOLO.
Before that was even a thing, we were like, let's do it. We got our son. we're gonna do it. And we all 3 years had our time in China. It wasn't missionary, although we did, we met up with other and continued to live our life as we were. But then after that, we come back and we didn't have anything because we sold everything. So we lived back in Texas for about 18 months.
Yeah, we'll speed up. And so we live in Texas, have another kid, move back to Atlanta. So we got a lot of moving. But I think one of the biggest transitions, which will lead to this one right here, our current one, is that as I've been teaching for about a decade, I've also been doing stand-up comedy at the same time, both essentially full-time jobs. And then in 2018, I'm fortunate enough to take this jump in the leap to go full-time with comedy. And this is one of our biggest decisions as a family, one of our biggest transitions, one of the biggest leaps of faith in general. I know how to get that word out.
A lot of S's.
Like Kobe. And so, that happens. Pandemic happens. And now where we are in 2022, as we record this episode, Katoya is excited because she had tasted it a little bit too before the pandemic.
So pre-pandemic, we both went into more entrepreneurial avenues.
Just got a nibble.
Damon was more established than I was, and I was putting my feet in it, and then the world shut down, and I was like, oh dang, that's bad. So then we both took on regular full-time jobs. It's always good to have a trade, tell you that. You can always teach, so you can always either go back to teaching, and I did a lot of property management the years before. And then now that we're kind of easing out of that,
there she go.
Damon is back into doing full-time, comedy plus some content creating, and then I just no longer want to do property management, and so now I'm going into more fitness avenues and content creating and anything else that lands some way. So it feels weird, feels odd, it's working, but I think with we for each other, and that's what helps the most. But that's all I can really say is that even when we began our marriage, it was me and Damon. We discussed our decisions and what we wanted for our family, and then other people could definitely speak into that and share their guidance. But a lot was us establishing that, if we were in agreement, if it didn't hurt, it didn't harm, it didn't go against anything, then we would be willing to try it. And so we've kind of carried that into our, transitions in our stages, and career has definitely just been a harder one, I think, for us in our marriage as a whole, because we had children very early and very unstably. I don't know who's super stable at 22 and 3, but we definitely were not. So we've always had to, provide and do jobs and work. And now it's but how do you do that and also enjoy what you're doing? So that's kind of where we are today.
Okay, so what would you say is your biggest challenge right now as you're transitioning into both being entrepreneurs?
Good question. We just go ahead and just take money out and put that to the side. I think I'll speak on one end. I think there's an element of creating these new routines, these new systems, these new, habits. As a family, if you're listening to this, you don't have kids. If you're listening to this and you do have children, right? It's like clock. You want it to get to clockwork. We wake up, right? And once we open those eyes, it's going, right? Who's picking up who and things like this. And so there's a lot of things that have been in place for a long time, even in the midst of physical transitions. But then when you kind of open it up and be like, all right, man, I just dropped the kids off, house quiet, woo, and so really being able to maximize our productivity, to maximize this energy and excitement that we have to go in and jump, with an element of faith and an element of work and go after these dreams and these ambitions. It's okay, what are these day in and day out routines and structures that we're doing, to be fruitful, to be good stewards of the time that we have? And so that's really one thing that comes to my mind off top, because, it's easy. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's easy. Drop those kids off. You're I ain't feeling it today, man. I ain't feeling it today. And nobody know. You ain't brushed your teeth. You ain't did no dishes. and you're just chilling.
Yeah.
And nobody has to know until you pick the kids up.
Or until the money is not present because you didn't do no work.
That's it. That's it. I gotta have this much by Friday. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. And so that's one piece. What anything else that comes to your mind?
Yeah.
One thing that comes to mind. But you can say money. That's a valid answer.
I mean, money is always an
Always
answer, but
an
that
answer.
is really a thing, especially for me. I just learned a lot about myself throughout this time, just productivity and like balance. And I mean, I find I can be really selfish. I got a lot of personal stuff I want to do, but I guess I can't do it all. So I'm trying to figure out how the personal supports the ambition or how the personal needs to take a sub seat down after the productivity. So I think really it's about balance right now. But, as far as our, balance and like he said, like just even as a schedule and a flow, because school not just started, but, we're still in the first 6 to 8 weeks of school. So our just family routine and patterns right now are wacky. So I think once we get a little bit more stability in schedules and how the days flow, then things will feel a little bit better. So that's the biggest challenge right now.
You have a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So the question I have for being that you made this transition, how do I say it? A lot of people don't want to take that step to make that transition or go say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, but I want to, I want to either follow what God has for me or what he wants me to do. What is the, I guess, not say positive and negative, but for you, when you was like, okay, I'm going to do this, what was the hesitation? Was there any hesitation at first?
And what was the deciding factor?
Yeah, what was the deciding factor to say, you know what? No, I'm done property management. I'm going this way.
Being that Damon was already, he's full-time entrepreneur, so you already know how, like I talked about, how money, can fluctuate. It's not as stable, even with time and commitment and all that stuff. So,
well, especially as you're getting started back into something, you're constantly gathering it together and balancing it through the months for your needs. So when Damon left the first time, I was like, I'm ready too. And I followed him the next year. I was like, yeah, me too. And so then he left this year and I was like, yeah, me too, I'm ready. And he's so sweet because he kept supporting it. And I was like, but I'm not really ready, but I want to do it too, But I was so discontent in what I was doing and, and more problems for me, for my family. Poor God, ears is just burning. He was like, there's just days he was like, I don't care what you do, but you need to stop doing what you're doing. Entrepreneur, if you just get another job where you happy, I don't care. But why you are still doing what you are doing, it makes no sense to me. And I was like, yeah, me neither. So, and we looked at a plan, understood what the amount that we need is, and just kind of in sync with that so that we can make the plan. So I think the deciding factor, I don't want to say just happiness, but there's a fulfillment that you want to have in the work and in the time that you're investing it in. And we were willing to make the sacrifice. And like I said, a part of our story is always just doing what we need to do for our family. And I don't think it as often included doing what we wanted to do. And so I think we faced the season to collectively and have seen the possibilities of where we can see ourselves if we gave the effort and energy there, instead of giving the hours to jobs that we didn't really desire.
I think as well, one, you talked about the discontent, but also just looking at and watching Katoya, her passion just continued to grow and to just, it's just a larger fire that needed to be fed more, right? And so there's this element of discontentment and stress and angst, but then there's also this burning fire that's just not getting fed enough, right? So there's this this journey, right, with that. And, there's an element of mental health and self-care where there are times that I've got to make sure my bucket is full so I can pour out and care for others as well with this full bucket. And, we ain't got to get into it heavy, but specifically the rat race, a lot of times that we fall into in America, as adults, it's very easy. You'll look up, and for many Americans, it's something that I remember watching this book. This is a tangent, but I think it applies here. What was I doing?
You said you were watching a book.
I was listening to a book. Okay. I listen to books.
Me too, though.
And but he just talked about this whole sociological experiment, but looking at middle management and how it was the trap of all traps in American dream. And I'm not gonna get into it here, but there's just this reality that I think a lot of people, from anxiety to stress to fear, there's that discontentment side and their stress side, but I don't know if they give enough value and honor enough the passions and the hunger and things that's bringing them joy, and the things that's filling their bucket enough. And so, I think there's an element of that. And lastly, I just wanted to echo as well, like when we're making these decisions and when you're talking about it, that communication is huge, right? And just walking through and having these conversations and having hard conversations about budget and talking about, timelines and processing things, because these are exciting conversations when you're in passions and joys, you hype about things, but you got to have those hard, realistic conversations like, all right, well, that's not going to work at all, because either we're eating peanut butter and jelly for 2 weeks or you have to do something as well. And so it's a huge concoction when making these decisions.
But this is not our first time exploring this. And so I think that's made it better too, because we made it happen previously. And so now
we tasted it.
Yeah, we tasted it. And so it was better because the first time when Damon, was exiting from education into comedy, I was like, all right, so show me your numbers though. Like,
let me see the numbers. No, I know they laughed.
Like how it worked though. Like before you say no. And I was far more like,
yeah, you
good? You sure?
Yeah.
Like, tell me the plan again.
One more time.
One
more time.
We had a lot of that. And then he made it work. And then, like I said, a year later, I was like, yeah, me too. And then we sat down and figured out where all the money would be coming from, how it would work, and it worked. And so then here we are again, but operating far more in the things that we want to do instead of just out of the regular day's work. So I think because granted, transition is really heavy in our world, and flowing with those changes and supporting each other in those changes, I think because of so much of that in our life, that it's made even a big moment that is fearful for me. I am a little trying to change my mindset and things, but I'm definitely a little more but I can feel the weight of, just doing stuff that I don't want to do. And I will run back to it like a abusive boyfriend. Oh, wait, I don't know. I'll take the property management job. Jesus, please, no more property management.
I say it, with all due respect, but I would really do my best to not let her take it.
Yeah, no, I've literally told people, because I've done that for the last 10 years in some way, shape, or form. And I'm every time I finish, I'm why do I keep saying yes to this?
Mental health matters.
I know. And so I don't want that pattern for myself. And I'd rather know that I tried instead of saying that I didn't. And it's nice to be supported in that as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, y'all kept, there's common themes that I kept hearing with you guys' story. Definitely, I feel like in order for you to be supportive of each other, you guys had to maintain connection. Mm-hmm. So even though transitions are a common theme in your relationship, you guys were able to maintain a close connection throughout it all. So my question is, I guess, what do you guys do in order to remain connected so that, because Damon was I supported her because I saw that she was not following her passions. So you have to know someone, you have to be in alignment in order to identify that, your spouse is just doing something to, is just doing something, but not really getting any fulfillment out of it. So what do you guys do to maintain your connection?
That's really good.
Man, I think I feel like we've always had a strong foundation with our friendship, and so like that connection is a great piece of the puzzle because it has consistently maintained this level of intimacy in the sense of honest, open, hard, tearful conversations, but on the flip side as well, that level of fun and joy and zeal that comes alongside support where you just like a cheerleader, like, yeah, let's do it. I don't know how it's gonna work, let's go, let's do it, right? And so, you know what I mean, and I think when you put that together, that connection, you just room for your friend, right? You room for your BFF, like, boo, I'm with you, you know what I'm saying, like whatever it takes, let's do it. And so, you know, we've really and I think, you know, and I'm saying this with understanding of everything, but like in the midst of the heart of the pandemic, where, you know, it's every day, right? It's every day. And, you know, one of the blessings that came out was, I think, another gear to that connection for us. You know, like one of our new little, I don't know how long we've been doing it, but like we've been just sharing more funny videos and memes and like, it's just another way we've just been enjoying each other's company. Like we had a really good, like, what was that laugh? Oh, we had a good laugh the other day. You know when you have a good laugh with your boo, and you're like, ooh, like sometimes it's almost good than physical intimacy. It's just like, ooh, you fulfill. It just tears and your gut hurt, and you just can't beat that. And
it was so good. It was the best laugh I had in months. And it did. It drew me closer to him in that moment. And I don't even got to tell you what it was about. And I could like just start laughing all over again. But friendship is good because
the city council, you gotta get.
They don't even understand. They won't understand. Don't say that. They may find it.
Oh, because y'all say we be certain.
So yeah, no, I agree with that. Friendship is good. Like we just have a fun partnership between each other, and it makes things better. You know, like if we're mad, we can laugh. Come back. We can be mad, and we will be, and things will go wrong, but we can come back around with it and know that we're not each other's enemy and that we're here to support each other. I think that's kind of like, I do agree that friendship is the best. And I think when I think about staying connected, that just means spending time, you know, finding time. Like even right now in this season, I find that Damon gets in like one track. I told him he's not even a good coworker.
You told me that, yo.
Like he, like if this was a workspace, like you're not even a good. Like I wouldn't even want no co-working space with you. He'd just be like, I'm just in my zone, and I'm just in my zone. I'm like, dang, is there like, hey, how you doing?
Hello, please send an email.
Like I feel like I need to like chat him in an email. Hey, do you have 5 seconds to speak to me? Like. I'm like, you're not my co-working partner. Actually, as soon as I really get into it, I'm about to leave here because I don't even think we co-work well. He's just so in the zone, and I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm in the zone, but like I walk to go get a grape. You want to chat for a second? And he's like,
I have a to-do list.
Excuse me, I'm on a call, and I'm like, oh, okay, all
I have
right.
a Zoom in 2 minutes. I may assist you,
but I do believe that he's like. Like literally, he's like, yeah, I'm about to hop on a call. And I'm like, okay, all right. But I do think that in the season, because he just pushes hard to do in productivity, and I just need a little bit more comfort. I feel that we got to work to find balance. I think it's just scheduling balance, what it looks like, how it should feel, who needs what and how they need it. Will be the rest of our exploration to the end of the year. I'm almost certain. Just figuring out how that goes. And so I think friendship plus just like finding the right times to still like enjoy, you know, each other's company.
No, that's good. I know we have our own struggles with transition as well.
So I said, don't rub me like that. Don't rub me like that.
We have the longest DIY. So we love a good DIY, especially all HGTV. Nice. We're all about all of it.
Did y'all do that behind you?
Yes. Well, that's where we're getting to. So it started Labor Day 2 years ago? No, 1 year ago.
1 year ago. I was like 2 years.
So yes, we just celebrate the one.
Yeah,
Okay,
1 year.
so we started. It's gonna be 3 days, right? We got a long weekend, 3 days. They do it all the time on HGTV. We got this. Okay, but I wanted to bring in some help. I said, this is a big project. Let's bring in some help. He did not. Anyways, long story short, that 3 days turned into 9 months.
What? It was 9 months.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Look at that face.
Exactly.
Look at that face,
Yes,
Jason.
it was.
I don't think it
And
was.
so, but it was fine, okay, because we started it in 21.
Yeah.
Okay, so we finished it 9 months later. Okay, it's beautiful, turned out great.
Beautiful.
He was still working. Jay was working a job where he had to like spend a lot of time out of the house.
Yeah.
So it was basically, although it's set up for two, it's really one person. Like it was really my office.
It was her office, yeah.
But then he just got a new job where he works from home, in addition to us doing the Bside together. So not only is he not a good co-working
We're trying to figure out the words.
he's also not that good. Like we've had communication challenges.
Yes.
When it comes to Bside, even like creating content and stuff, because like I'm like, oh, we should do this, and I'm like, okay, so when are we gonna do it? Like, let's put it on the schedule. Let's do this, or when are we gonna talk about doing this? Because he'll just have an idea, he'll throw it over his shoulder, and then he's done. And I'm the one over like, okay, so what do you mean by that? So you said you want to do what? Like,
listen,
what are the details associated with it? Can we talk about it? Like literally, like we need to go have some coffee and let's work through this thing. Like, no, he's just like, this is the idea. I gave it to you. I'll see you later.
Listen,
I'm like, dude.
I was told this early on, us doing couples coaching and stuff like that by a minister. He said the husband provides the seed, is for the wife to grow it and develop it. And that's how he said it to me. And I said, oh, okay, makes sense. So for me, I have a lot of ideas about stuff.
Yes.
And
he's a visionary.
I'm not gonna move unless it goes through my wife, who's gonna develop it, because that's not God. In the Bible, God doesn't say that I have to develop it. That was told to me, so I went with that.
But he always wanted me to birth quadruplets. Like he don't want to birth one child. He wanted to have, let's have triplets this time. I'm like, sir, I can only do like one thing at a time, and we need to flush this out before we be trying to get pregnant again. Like, sir, help me.
Question, real quick. Have y'all ever taken the Enneagram test?
No.
Oh, I'm gonna send it to you. I got thoughts on what numbers y'all fit.
Send it. I'll take it. I like taking those things.
Yeah,
I want to know. Yeah, it's like a personality test, but it sounds like
I just don't know what they are. Like the numbers mean.
Oh, okay. I mean, some people get too deep into it, but out top, I'm already like, I'm seeing some numbers here.
I love it.
Which is fine, but it is unique to see how they work together. And I think as long as it works for y'all, right, then it's okay. But, there is a balance. But, I mean, your creation looks great behind you, for sure.
Thank you.
Yes, we won't be doing any more DIY projects.
I'm home.
But kudos to y'all to even do that. We wouldn't even do that.
We would not.
We love to do.
Yeah, I'm very handy when it comes, because I used
this is the problem.
I used to build motorcycles, stuff like that, so I can.
Okay, I see. No, that's nice.
All trades. So he can do it. And so what I do, I design it, and then he'll build it. The estimates are just never timely. Like they're just never.
I appreciate her thought process on her words.
She's done a really good job. I'm choosing the right word.
I don't want to say late or not punctual.
They're just, they're inaccurate. They're facetious. They're really
we've been together, I don't know, 16 years. Okay. So I know this about him now, right? So he'll be like, oh, that'll take me a week. So I automatically be like, okay, that's actually gonna take a month. But even with the office, it went triple past what I really thought.
I changed it 3 times because I didn't like it. I changed it 3 times.
I was like, okay,
nope, pull it all down, start over again. I literally changed it 3 times.
That probably hurt every time. Ooh,
it did because again, it just.
I mean, not you, but her. Like seeing you almost there, but then take it down. Like that would kill me. But if it was for perfection and a good outcome, it works, you know? So I understand. And I think it's beautiful. You do understand your partner and like that. Like, how does it transition? Like, we know different things about us that work. Like I said, we would never commit to that. Like, it wouldn't go well. Like, and I, with my minimal skills, am the least I am the most handy. But I also don't really have great skills. So that would be a very large project for us if I had to carry it. And Damon just would be like, no. Like, he just wouldn't even participate.
I would have already had a Google sheet with 5 people.
He would have found us 5 contractors. I would be like, it don't need to be no more than 300. He's like, I'll find them.
We about to go to the park. Somebody will be here at 3. What's happening?
That's what I was like. Because also too, like you said, he was working a job that was outside the home. So it was like, I don't want your time here at the house when you're at home to be in the office building stuff and putting up. I don't want that. Yeah. So I was like, let me find, like, please let me find.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful though. We have some friends who build a lot of stuff, and I'm like, and I'm envious at the end of the day. So I think it's cute that you found like the thing that y'all, you at least like to do projects and things together, which is
no, they did past tense.
No, smaller projects.
Oh, smaller projects like an IKEA table.
Oh yeah, he builds all IKEA.
I build everything, beds, all that stuff. Yeah.
That's like he's handy. It works sometimes, but anyways, we digress.
So the last thing for you guys, on all our episodes, we have like an advanced marriage tip. So we want to, being that you guys give us some great nuggets about transitions, could you guys give us like a marriage advanced tip about transitions that you can help other couples with?
So basically, like, what would be the one takeaway that you would want someone to get from this episode?
Yeah.
About specifically transitions?
Within a marriage.
You want me to go first? You want to go? You got something on your heart?
I don't know. Liv crying today was just such a big deal to me because it really was. Well, on the Enneagram thing, she's a 1, Damon's a 1. He's not crying about changes or anything, but I can understand how much stability matters to people, and like knowing where you're going, knowing what's next, mean what you say, but in the scope of a relationship, that is not constant, that things are going to be the same, that they're going to be stable, that changes won't occur, that hard times won't push you into something different, or that your partner doesn't want like a whole new career change or whatever it might be. But if the support doesn't start within your home to see the value that it brings to your spouse, and then how that can bring value and peace back into your home, then it's going to be an uphill battle each time to try something different. So I guess I'm just saying, we have to be in tune with our partners enough to know what they need that will in return be beneficial for our family. And then think about and plan and communicate how their joy in whatever they do or want to do or pursue will be like how y'all can work together for it. And sometimes that's uncomfortable. And uncomfortability doesn't mean bad. But we honestly have to get uncomfortable, and it's best to be uncomfortable together than ever feeling like we have to do that separately. So I would just say, changes are gonna come, and sometimes you may want to cry about it, but do it together and figure out more ways to, almost like see through the eyes of your partner and the value of what that transition or change may be. Again, that will help you in return your family.
You out here teaching today. You out here teaching today.
Listen, I learned from the kids. That girl crying was so dramatic to me. I was like bawling about like we're not going to soccer anymore. Like it wasn't even her soccer practice. It was just so irrational, but it made sense to her. And I was like, I get it. I'm tired of some changes too. So
that's good. That's really true. Uncomfortability does not mean bad. That's a good one for sure. I'm gonna say something that has layers to it, and but I really mean it is like don't overthink it. I think first off, because it's going to come. Like it's literally, if 2020 didn't do us nothing, it reminded us that it's coming. Often, consistently, inconsistently, it is coming. Transitions is coming. Your health, your marital health, oh wow, wait, I'm 37, we pregnant again? Like you just never know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got
who that for though?
Oh, somebody listening. Somebody listening. You understand? No, I'm just saying in general, right? But yeah, like I say, don't overthink it because one, it's coming. Two, if you have, and this I firmly believe this, if you believe you are in a strong relationship, committed, healthy relationship that's trying to always be its best, then I believe y'all gonna figure it out. I believe that if y'all had to get up and move because somebody got a job and you move to a state that you don't know anybody, y'all gonna figure it out. I ain't saying they're gonna be easy. I'm not saying there's gonna be tough times, but if you feel like you in that healthy marriage, and y'all committed to each other, you got your ride or die, y'all gonna figure it out.
It's another adventure.
And when I say don't overthink it, it's not just generalized, not thinking about the stress and this foolish optimism. It's this reality and hope in your relationship and in the foundation that you've been setting in that connection y'all have been being in tune with one another, where you're like, man, listen, I don't know what life is going to throw my way. And these transitions that we're talking about are going to come for better or for worse, right? Hopefully for the better more times than not, right? But if we're in this together, we're not going to overthink it. We're going to figure it out. We're going to be in it together. We're going to be committed to each other. And we're going to move forward.
Good stuff.
That's good stuff.
Good.
That was good.
I learned some stuff too. Yeah. We'll talk about that later. Anyways.
So, why don't you give everybody your handles, all the ways that people can get in contact with you, check all your stuff out?
Yeah. Number one is Instagram, SUM, it up some nerds. We are the some nerds. I always emphasize that because a lot of people call me. They do, and he just be like, "I'm David Sumner," and I'm like, "You ain't gonna tell them SUMN is in Nancy ER."
Yeah, right.
But whatever, that's what I have to say. And so, yeah, we are Sum It Up Sumners on Instagram. You can check us out on Facebook at Sum It Up with the Sumners. And yeah, we love to chat. So message, DM, any of that.
Listen, there might be some young folks in these streets. We on TikTok too. Let the people know we're having a good time on the top. Y'all taking on the top?
On
It's a lot.
Oh, y'all got to talk on the tick now. Y'all got to get on the tick.
That has to sound so bad. You ticking on the top.
I got to take it a tick. Also, though, Summing Up Summoners over there on TikTok as well. We're having fun. That's just more good fun over there. I'm bringing Katoya alongside me over there on TikTok as well. We're going to have a good time.
I'm trying to be alongside for everything. Clearly me. I'm ready. Me too, Damien. Don't leave me. Here I come.
Good. Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us. It's been great talking with you all.
Great conversation as always. Great conversation as always. So.
Yes, it is.
So,
how we wrap this up?
I don't know. We just wrap it up the same way.
Okay.
Guys, just follow us, like us, share this with somebody because I'm pretty sure that somebody needs to hear how ways of transitioning in your marriage.
How to transition well, pivot well.
Yeah, pivot. That's what we use the word pivot.
That's what we're going to title it.
Oh, we're going to title it. Okay.
I don't know.
So
I come up with all these ideas and then I'm going to give them to you. I'm going to throw them over my shoulder and give them to you.
So, but I guess until next week.
All right.
Peace.